What's happening, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. This is Dan here. So in this video I'm going to give you my favourite 11 Premier League players who didn't play for Man United. The reason why I'm excluding United players is because I'm a massive Man United fan and I don't really want to be biased. So in football you always have your favourite player. Usually they play for your own club, but some don't, and some might even play for your rival club, and that's okay. But then there's a time when the stars align, when the player you love joins your club, and it's amazing. For me, that was Bastian Schweinsteiger and Zlatan Ibrahimovic. What a day it was. It didn't last long for either of them, but still it was great. It was great to see them both playing in the red of Man United. Anyways, so my 11 players will form a 4-3-3 formation, and to be fair, if I was truly doing this, truly picking my favourite 11 Premier League players, it would probably make up a 2-3-5 formation with majority being strikers. Before we get started, this selection is based upon skill, ability, but also my personal choice, players that I really enjoyed watching growing up. If this 11 was solely based on ability, then it would probably be a little different and a few players probably wouldn't have made my list. So on that, let's get into it. In goal was an easy choice, David Seaman. Seaman is arguably one of the greatest goalkeepers ever to play in the Premier League. With 3 league titles and 4 FA Cups to his name, Seaman went on to make over 500 appearances for the Gunners with a career spanning 22 years. David Seaman will forever be remembered as one of England's finest goalkeepers and someone they have failed to replace since. My centre-back pairing have had polar opposite careers, Ledley King and Ricardo Carvalho. I know it's a random partnership, and yes, Carvalho and Terry would have been a finer choice, but I like King, and without the injuries and the setbacks, he could arguably be up there as one of the greats. For any of you who don't know, King had an injury-stricken career plagued by chronic knee problems, which there was no real effective treatment. The injury prevented King from training with the rest of the squad and restricted him to one first-team game per week. Former Spurs manager Harry Redknapp referred to King as an absolute freak, due to his ability to perform at the highest level despite not training. King played 14 seasons with Spurs, gaining 323 appearances, averaging 23 appearances per season, but he retired at the young age of 31. Ricardo Carvalho's career, on the other hand, is polar opposite, playing 20 professional seasons, averaging over 30 appearances per season, and winning 17 major honours across 4 different leagues, including a Champions League, Premier League, La Liga, and a European Championship with Portugal in 2016. Carvalho formed a formidable partnership with John Terry at Chelsea. Both complement each other brilliantly, winning 3 Premier League titles in 6 seasons at the Bridge. My right back choice may come across as a strange one, but I like him. Steve Finan. Finan was a hard working, solid defender with a decent cross on him. Not renowned for his attacking ability, though Finan was a tough defender to get by. The most notable achievement in Steve Finan's career is of course the Champions League final win with Liverpool in 2005. He went on to reach another Champions League final with Liverpool in 2007, but defeat by AC Milan stopped Finan from collecting his second Champions League title in 3 seasons. Finan went on to win the FA Cup with Liverpool in 2006 and eventually leaving in 2008 for Spanish side Espanyol. Finan also represented Ireland in the 2002 World Cup, reaching the last 16 where he scored in the penalty shootout defeat to Spain. Steve Finan's last professional appearance was with Portsmouth in the FA Cup final defeat to Chelsea in 2010. My left back has to be Ashley Cole, probably the greatest fullback ever to grace the Premier League. Ashley Cole was simply the best, defensively formidable and attackingly superb. Ashley Cole redefined the role as fullbacks and is now considered one of the first modern attacking defenders. Ashley Cole has won 3 league titles, 7 FA Cups, a Champions League, a Europa League and a League Cup in his glittering 20-year career. His career saw him play in England, Italy and even the United States. Cole was capped 107 times for England, making him the 6th most capped English player of all time. He announced his retirement in 2019 after a short spell with Derby County. Central midfield, Luka Modric. One of the most successful players ever to come through Tottenham Hotspurs. Luka Modric is the crown jewel of European football, collecting 4 Champions League title, a La Liga title and of course a Ballon d'Or in 2018. Modric also led his country Croatia to the World Cup final, only to be defeated by France, but collecting the player of the tournament in the meantime. Modric has overcome all the odds, from being labelled a flop by the Madrid fans after his first season to fastly becoming one of the greatest midfielders in the club's history. Luka Modric is simply a joy to watch. Joining Modric in the midfield is probably my favourite player on this list, Yaya Toure. A beast in the midfield for Man City, Toure controlled most games he played either by sheer skill or pure strength. Ability to some, though talented beyond belief to others. His ability to demand more from his teammates allowed him to win games at the drop of a hat. Being a Maya fan, Toure was a player I probably should have hated, but his quality was just too good to ignore. To most, his ability was beyond dispute, though Pep Guardiola was never a fan, selling him at Barcelona and then letting him go for free at Man City. Toure has went so far to say that Pep Guardiola had a problem with Africans, though Pep Guardiola has dismissed these claims. Toure has went on to win 17 major honours, including 3 Premier League titles, a Champions League and an African Cup of Nations triumph in 2016 with Ivory Coast. Toure is currently applying his trade in China with Shandong Wanghai FC. I probably missaid that, apologies. Completing my midfield 3 is a player I tried not to include, Steven Gerrard. No, honestly, I really tried not to pick Steven Gerrard in my list, but his quality was just too good to ignore. Probably the finest natural player ever to grace the Premier League, Steven Gerrard had the ability to single-handedly win games and to carry entire teams throughout a season. Many people have said Steven Gerrard deserved more from what Liverpool were offering, but the boyhood red remained loyal, despite interest from Real Madrid, Man United and of course Chelsea, which is a close enough call for most Liverpool fans. In other times, Gerrard would have had countless league titles to his name, though Gerrard ended his career with 9 major honours, which included his heroics in Istanbul in 2005 Champions League final. Steven Gerrard retired in 2016 and is currently the manager of the Rangers Football Club in Scotland. I'm not really sure how my formation will actually work, but next on my list is Gareth Bale. The Welsh winger came on the scene as a speedy, burly defensive left back. To say Bale failed to live up to the hype when he joined Spurs in 2007 is an understatement. Bale failed to register a single win with Spurs in his first 24 appearances, which led to some Spurs fans calling him a jinx. But something magical happened. Under manager Harry Redknapp, due to his poor defensive ability, Redknapp decided to move Gareth Bale into the left wing position. A decision which stunned everyone, but Redknapp and his team were hugely rewarded. Bale went on to score 49 goals in 129 appearances. This goal rate for a winger is impressive, but it was the sheer manner of goals he scored. 30-yard screamers, 50-yard runs, you name it. Gareth Bale was single-handedly winning game after game after game for Spurs. This didn't go amiss for all the big teams, Barcelona, Man United, all lodged bids, but Bale decided to join the white of Real Madrid for a world record fee of 85 million in 2013. Bale's time at Madrid is up for debate, though 105 goals in 249 appearances isn't too shabby, while collecting 13 major honours in the meantime, which include 4 Champions League titles. But has Bale been as influential at Madrid as he was at Spurs? Well, maybe that deserves its own separate video. Joining Bale in the attack is the record cup final goal scorer, Didier Drogba. Drogba played in 10 cup finals, scoring 10 goals, including 4 FA Cup finals and a Champions League final. Drogba was simply the man for the big occasions. His style was somewhat perfect: strength, speed, awareness and deadly finishing. Drogba had it all, though he was prone to the odd dive and play acting, which would frustrate the most hardcore Chelsea fans, but he was simply driven for his desire to win. Drogba joined Chelsea in 2004 from Marseille under new manager Jose Mourinho. Drogba made 381 appearances for the Blues, scoring 164 goals. Collecting 14 major honours with Chelsea and 18 overall, Drogba simply had the most glittering career. Before I release my final player on the list, please remember these are my choices, simply my opinion and players I love to watch, so please give my final player a chance, Emmanuel Adebayor. I know that name doesn't scream class among Arsenal fans with the whole celebration, kicking of Robin van Persie, and his eventual move to Spurs. I do understand why Arsenal fans hated him once he left the club, but why did Arsenal fans hate him before he left? He scored 62 goals in 3.5 seasons for the Gunners. Not bad for 3 million quid, eh? While Adebayor's relationship with Arsenal fans aside, his ability was top class. His skill, his strengths, his lanky demeanour made him a tough opponent for defenders to face. When Adebayor actually wanted to play, he was one of the best in the league, but those days sadly were few and far between at best. Personally, I love his style, his movement, his touch, but maybe that's just my opinion. We all have certain players we enjoy to watch. Maybe Adebayor doesn't deserve to be on your list, but he makes mine. Well, that was my list. Before you agree or disagree, just remember I'm 27 years old, so the likes of Matt Letizia, Alan Shearer, Bergkamp, Henry are all class players. Don't get me wrong, I truly enjoy them. I think they're amazing, talented footballers, and I love watching their highlights. But when I got into football, like truly got into football, these players were either retired, getting older, or leaving the Premier League, which prevented me from seeing their best. I know maybe David Seaman falls under that category, but he was a class act, and it's my list, so I can kind of pick who I want. But let me know in the comments below any players you thought should have made my list. And if you want to recommend a topic for my next video, please comment below. Thanks.
Thank you.